The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement as hundreds of alien representatives gathered around the massive holographic display. The newest members of the council, particularly the muff-like Zinthra and the crystalline Cox, couldn't contain their amusement at their latest discovery, a small blue planet in an unremarkable spiral arm of the Milky Way. "Look at them," chittered Solak, a young Zinthra analyst, his antenna twitching with barely contained laughter. "They're still burning fossil fuels. In this age of quantum drives and dark matter reactors." His wings fluttered, spreading iridescent spores of mirth that made nearby junior representatives giggle. The Cox representative, a towering formation of living crystal named Hex 117, chimed in with a resonating tone of superiority. "Their most advanced vehicles barely break their atmosphere. They haven't even established a proper colony on their own moon." The crystalline being's facets sparkled with derision, creating patterns that translated to laughter in their culture. The planet in question, designated as Earth in local parlance, rotated slowly in the holographic display. Various data streams highlighted its technological emissions, political boundaries, and biological diversity. What particularly amused the Council's younger members was the constant stream of electromagnetic signals still radiating from the planet. Radio waves, television broadcasts, and primitive digital communications. "They're broadcasting their entertainment into space using radio waves," Solak announced to the chamber, triggering another wave of laughter. "Some of these signals are so old, they're still in analog format." He pulled up several Earth broadcasts, displaying them for all to see. Reality shows, political debates, and advertisements filled the screens, making the assembled aliens shake their heads in what they considered wise disapproval. However, not everyone in the chamber shared in the mockery. Krithak, a seasoned archaeological researcher from the slug-like Mern species, observed the data with more measured interest. Her eye stalks swayed thoughtfully as she noticed something unusual in the planet's energy readings. "Council members," Krithak's voice cut through the laughter, her translator rendering her words in the standard galactic tongue. "While the surface technology appears primitive, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures that don't match their apparent development level." The chamber quieted somewhat as Krithak manipulated the holographic display. She highlighted several areas around the planet where energy patterns seemed to flicker in and out of normal spacetime. "These signatures bear similarities to quantum fluctuations we've observed in ancient ruins across the galaxy, but they're far more sophisticated." Solak waved one of his feathered appendages dismissively. "Probably just natural phenomena their primitive sensors can't even detect. Did you know they still think quantum entanglement is spooky action at a distance?" This earned him another round of appreciative chirps and chimes from his fellow junior representatives. But Krithak remained undeterred. She formally addressed the High Council, her voice resonating with academic authority. "I request permission to lead an archaeological expedition to Earth. Something about these readings doesn't align with our assumptions about their technological level." The Council's chief administrator, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell, considered the request. After a moment of deliberation, a sound like distant thunder rolled through the chamber. "Permission granted, Researcher Krithak. But do try not to disturb the primitives too much. We wouldn't want to confuse them with our presence." As the chamber erupted in fresh laughter at the administrator's jest, Krithak began assembling her team. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important about this supposedly primitive world. The energy signatures she detected were unlike anything she'd seen in her centuries of research. Too regular to be natural, too sophisticated to be accidents. As the Earth continued its slow rotation in the holographic display, Krithak noticed something else, a pattern in the energy fluctuations that seemed almost like a heartbeat. An ancient, patient heartbeat, waiting for something or someone. Krithak's research vessel, the Stellar Seeker, dropped out of hyperspace near Earth's moon. The ship's crystalline hull sparkled in the sunlight as its crew of 12 prepared for their first official contact with the primitive species. They had chosen this position carefully, wanting to appear impressive but not threatening to the humans. "Begin broadcasting first contact protocols," Krithak ordered, her eye stalks swaying with anticipation. "Use simple pictograms and basic mathematical sequences. We don't want to overwhelm them." Solak, who had insisted on joining the mission to document what he called the comedy of first contact, activated the ship's communication array. Adding simple drawings of our ship and peaceful intentions, he chittered, his wings vibrating with barely contained amusement. "I've made them extra basic, stick figures and smiley faces." The crew waited, expecting either confusion or panic from the planet below. Instead, their sensors detected a rapid-fire burst of incoming transmissions. The ship's AI struggled to process the unexpected flood of data. This can't be right," muttered Hex 117, their communications specialist. The crystalline being's facets flickered with confusion. "We're receiving responses in all 247 known galactic languages, including extinct ones." Krithak slithered quickly to the main console. The message was the same in every language. "Welcome back, children. It's been a while." Solak's wings stopped fluttering. Children? Did they just call us children? Before anyone could respond, a new transmission arrived, a video feed. The screen showed a simple conference room where 3 humans sat calmly at a table. They looked utterly ordinary in their business attire, yet something about their relaxed posture made Krithak's skin ripple with unease. "Greetings, Stellar Seeker," said the central figure, a gray-haired woman with kind eyes and an amused smile. "I'm Dr. Sarah Chen of Earth's Unified Defense Council. We've been expecting you." Solak pushed forward, his authority as a junior council member making him bold. "Now see here, primitives, we are representatives of the Galactic Council, and you will show proper respect." Dr. Chen interrupted, her smile never wavering. "Like the respect you showed while mocking our primitive broadcasts in your council chamber yesterday." The alien crew froze. There had been no way for Earth to know about that meeting. "How did you?" Krithak began. "Monitor your council sessions," Dr. Chen finished for her. "The same way we've been monitoring all young civilizations since they achieved faster-than-light travel. It's our responsibility, after all." The human's calm demeanor was starting to seriously unnerve the alien crew. Solak's wings were now pressed flat against his back, all traces of mockery gone. "Young civilizations," Hex 117 chimed in, their crystalline form vibrating with indignation. "The Cox civilization is over 50,000 years old." All 3 humans chuckled at this, not unkindly. "Ah, to be 50,000 again," said Dr. Chen. "Such a wonderful age. The galactic equivalent of a teenager, really." Krithak felt her scientific curiosity overwhelming her fear. "Those energy signatures I detected, what are they?" "Monitoring stations," replied the man sitting to Dr. Chen's right. "Part of the Sol Protectorate's defense grid. Quite old now, only about 20 million years or so. We really should upgrade them soon." The alien crew stared in stunned silence at the screen. Everything that they thought they knew about Earth was crumbling around them. "Now then," Dr. Chen continued pleasantly, "since you've made the effort to visit, would you like to come down for some tea? We have quite a lot to discuss, and I believe there are some things in your archaeological database you might want us to correct." As the Stellar Seeker's crew looked at each other in confusion and growing unease, their sensors detected something new. Massive energy signatures awakening all across the solar system, far more advanced than anything their civilization had ever encountered. They were beginning to realize that they hadn't discovered Earth. Earth had allowed itself to be found. The underground facility stretched for miles beneath the Sahara Desert. Krithak and her team followed Dr. Chen through gleaming corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. Solak, now quiet and nervous, kept close to the group while Hex 117 recorded everything with their crystalline sensors. "How?" Krithak paused, choosing her words carefully. "How long has this facility been here?" Dr. Chen checked her simple wristwatch, a gesture that now seemed strangely deliberate given the advanced technology surrounding them. This particular archive, about 47 million years, though we've renovated it a few times since then. The aliens stopped walking, their translators struggling to process the number. Solak's wings trembled. That's impossible. The oldest known structures in the galaxy are the ruins of Centauri, and they're only 5 million years old. Ah yes, the ruins. Dr. Chen smiled. We built those during our second cycle. They were meant to be a library for emerging civilizations, though I see some of the information there has been misinterpreted. They entered a vast circular chamber. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing star maps, technical diagrams, and historical records that made the alien technology look like children's toys. At the center stood a simple pedestal with a glowing symbol, Sol Protectorate, third cycle. What does that mean? Krathak asked, her eye stalks focused on the symbol. Third cycle. Humanity has risen and fallen 3 times, explained another human scientist who joined them, introducing himself as Dr. Paddle. Each cycle lasted millions of years. We spread across the galaxy, built wonders, learned, grew, and then chose to start over. Chose. Hex 117's crystalline form sparkled with confusion. Why would an advanced species choose to become primitive? Dr. Chen touched the pedestal, and the room filled with new holograms. They showed vast cities among the stars, ships that could bend reality, and technology that the aliens couldn't even begin to comprehend. Then the images shifted to show smaller scenes. Children playing in parks, families having dinner, artists painting sunsets. Because we discovered that true advancement isn't just about technology, Dr. Chen said softly. Each time we reached the heights of technological achievement, we found ourselves losing touch with what made us human. So we created the cycles. A new door opened, leading to another chamber. Inside, the aliens saw something that made them gasp. Suspended in a golden field of energy was what looked like a simple wooden wheel. Our first invention, Dr. Patel said proudly. From our first cycle, over 100 million years ago. We keep it as a reminder. Solak, who had been quiet for a long time, finally spoke. But what about Mars? Venus? They're dead worlds. Are they? Dr. Chen pressed another button on her watch. New holograms appeared, showing vast underground cities on Mars and floating platforms in Venus's upper atmosphere. We learned long ago not to put all our eggs in one basket, as we say. Krathak moved closer to examine the wheel. Why show us all this now? Why maintain the pretense of being primitive? Because you're ready to know, Dr. Chen answered. Or rather, you need to know. Something is coming. Something from our second cycle that we hoped would never wake up. We've detected its stirrings in the Oort cloud. The chamber's lights dimmed slightly, and a new hologram appeared, showing something massive and dark moving at the edge of the solar system. Dr. Chen's face grew serious for the first time. That's why we reveal ourselves. Not because you found us, but because soon, very soon, every civilization in this galaxy will need to understand what they're truly dealing with. The young races will need to be ready. The aliens looked at the hologram, then at their human hosts, finally understanding that their expedition hadn't led them to a primitive world at all. They had stumbled into the nest of giants who had been quietly watching over them all along. In the heart of the United Nations building in New York, representatives from the Galactic Council sat in stunned silence. The room, which had seemed impressively modern just days ago, now felt strangely quaint, especially since they could see the hidden quantum technology humming beneath its seemingly ordinary walls. Krathak, Solak, and Hex 117 watched as Dr. Chen addressed the gathered alien diplomats. Behind her, screens showed live feeds from what the aliens had always thought were dead worlds, massive underground cities on Mars, floating platforms in Venus's atmosphere, and research stations deep within Jupiter's clouds. For millions of years, Dr. Chen explained, humanity has been the guardian of this galaxy. We've risen to technological heights you cannot imagine, and 3 times we've chosen to start again from scratch. A Zenthra diplomat raised his wing in question. But why? Why pretend to be primitive? Why live in such simple conditions when you have this power? Dr. Paddle stepped forward, carrying what looked like an ordinary coffee mug. He placed it on the table, and suddenly it transformed into a hovering display of the entire Milky Way galaxy. Imagine having everything you could ever want, he said. Imagine never having to struggle, never having to learn, never having to grow. We discovered that ultimate power doesn't lead to ultimate wisdom. Sometimes you need to forget in order to remember what's truly important. Solak, who had been unusually quiet since their discovery in the desert facility, finally spoke up. All our technology, the quantum drives, the neural networks, the gravity manipulators, reverse-engineered from artifacts we left behind, Dr. Chen finished for him. The ruins of Centauri, the crystal caves of Andromeda, the floating libraries of Orion, all teaching tools we created to help guide younger races toward the stars. The room erupted in confused chatter. Krithak noticed how the humans simply waited, patient as mountains, for the noise to die down. They had, she realized, been patient for millions of years. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing a DNA strand. Each human carries within them the genetic memory of all 3 cycles, explained Dr. Chen. When needed, these memories can be awakened. We are not just the current generation of humans. We are the sum of all humanity has ever been. Then, the radio signals, the primitive satellites, the pollution. Hex 117's crystalline form flickered with understanding. It was all a carefully maintained facade. Not exactly, said Dr. Patel, smiling. We truly did live these simple lives. We truly did make these discoveries again. That was the point. To experience the joy of innovation, the triumph of overcoming challenges, to stay human. The alien diplomats watched as more holograms appeared, showing human achievements from all 3 cycles. Cities that spanned solar systems, ships that could fold space itself, machines that could reshape reality. But also smaller things. Children learning to walk, scientists celebrating discoveries, artists creating beautiful works. Throughout all our cycles, Dr. Chen continued, we've maintained certain constants. The joy of discovery, the importance of growth, the need for connection. These things matter more than all the technology in the universe. Krithak slithered forward, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her awe. You said we needed to know now. Why? What's coming? The human shared a serious look. Dr. Chen waved her hand, and the holograms shifted to show something dark and massive moving at the edge of the solar system. During our second cycle, we created something we shouldn't have. A self-replicating probe designed to explore other dimensions. We thought we had deactivated them all when we realized the danger they posed. But one survived, hidden in the Oort cloud, slowly corrupting over millions of years. And now it's awake. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just discovering humanity's true nature. They were being recruited for a fight that had been waiting for millions of years. And humanity was finally ready to show its true face again. The emergency alarms in Earth's defense headquarters blared to life at exactly midnight UTC. Krithak, Solak, and several other alien representatives watched in amazement as the seemingly ordinary military facility transformed around them. Walls shifted, advanced displays materialized, and hidden technology awakened from its long slumber. Dr. Chen strode into the command center, but she was different now. Gone was her simple business suit, replaced by a sleek uniform that seemed to bend light around it. Her eyes glowed with a faint blue light, the sign of activated genetic memories from humanity's previous cycles. The probe has fully awakened, she announced, her voice carrying an authority that made even the proudest alien diplomats straighten up. And it's worse than we feared. A massive hologram filled the center of the room, showing the corrupted probe. It was enormous now, having used materials from the Orc cloud to grow over millions of years. Its surface writhed with impossible geometries, patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. "By the stars," whispered Solak, his wings pulling tight against his body in fear. "What is that thing?" Dr. Patel, also now transformed by awakened memories, manipulated the display. During our second cycle, we created probes to explore other dimensions. They were designed to adapt and evolve, to survive in conditions we couldn't imagine. This one went wrong. The probe's surface suddenly shifted, revealing structures that looked like cities, but twisted and wrong. Krithak's eye stalks wavered as she realized what she was seeing. "It's building something." "Yes," Dr. Chen confirmed. "It's trying to create a bridge between dimensions. If it succeeds, it could tear reality apart." Suddenly, the facility shook. Around the world, and throughout the solar system, ancient defense systems began to activate. On Mars, massive doors opened in the desert, revealing weapon systems that made the aliens' most powerful ships look like toys. Venus's atmosphere swirled as hidden platforms emerged from the clouds, their surfaces glowing with power. "This," Dr. Chen gestured to the awakening defenses, "is why we created the cycles. Why we kept these systems dormant. Some weapons are too dangerous to leave active for millions of years. They needed to sleep, just as we did." The probe's image shifted again, showing it launching smaller versions of itself. The alien representatives gasped as they recognized the design. It was a corrupted version of their own probe technology. "All your civilization's exploration probes," Dr. Patel explained gently, "were based on fragments of our old technology. That's why this threat concerns everyone. It can corrupt and control any probe based on its original design." Krithak slithered closer to the display, her scientific mind racing. "You've been watching for this. All this time, living simply, pretending to be primitive. You were standing guard." Dr. Chen nodded. "We learned in our first cycle that constant vigilance leads to paranoia. In our second cycle, we learned that unlimited power corrupts absolutely. In this third cycle, we found balance, sleeping but ready, primitive but prepared." The facility shook again as more defense systems activated. Through the windows, they could see the night sky filling with lights as hidden satellites and defense platforms revealed themselves. "Why tell us now?" Solak asked, his earlier mockery of Earth long forgotten. "Why not handle this threat yourselves?" "Because," Dr. Chen said, her enhanced eyes glowing brighter, "this fight belongs to all of us now. You've built your civilizations using pieces of our old technology. That makes you part of this story. And more importantly, it makes you vulnerable to what's coming." The hologram updated, showing the probe launching more corrupted copies of itself. They were heading not just toward Earth, but toward every major civilization in the galaxy. "We need to work together," Dr. Chen declared. "Not as elder and younger races, but as equals. Because what's coming doesn't care about our history. It only wants to unmake reality itself." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had awakened not just to save themselves, but to save everyone. And they needed help from the very civilizations that had once mocked them. The real question was, would they be ready in time? Across Earth, ordinary people stopped what they were doing as ancient memories stirred within their DNA. A street sweeper in Mumbai suddenly understood quantum mechanics. A kindergarten teacher in Toronto remembered how to pilot dimensional ships. A farmer in Kenya accessed knowledge about gravity manipulation that his ancestors had sealed away millions of years ago. In the command center, Krithak and the other alien representatives watched in awe as humanity awakened from its long slumber. Dr. Chen's eyes now glowed like blue stars as she coordinated the global response. "Look at the humans," Solak whispered, his wings trembling. "They're all changing." Through the massive screens, they watched as people everywhere calmly walked away from their daily lives and headed to hidden facilities that were revealing themselves in every city. Parents gently explained to their children what was happening, activating their dormant memories with simple touches to their foreheads. The awakening was always meant to be gentle, Dr. Paddle explained, his own eyes now gleaming with ancient knowledge. We didn't want to lose our humanity in the process. That's why every human is awakening with their current memories and personalities intact, just adding the knowledge from before. A young boy appeared on one of the screens, playing with what looked like ordinary building blocks. But as they watched, the blocks floated into the air, forming complex patterns that even the most advanced alien scientists couldn't understand. "How many humans are there?" Hex 117 asked, their crystalline form vibrating with nervous energy. 8 billion active humans, Dr. Chen replied, with the combined knowledge and experience of 3 cycles of civilization. That's 24 billion lives worth of knowledge and experience awakening all at once. The command center's displays showed more amazing scenes. Ordinary cars transformed into gravity-defying vehicles. Simple smartphones became reality-altering devices. What the aliens had thought were primitive satellites revealed themselves as nodes in a vast network of space-time manipulation technology. Krithak observed a group of teenagers in a park, casually discussing how to stabilize dimensional barriers while still playing with their phones. "They're taking it so calmly," she noted. "Of course," Dr. Chen smiled. "This awakening has been part of our bedtime stories, our myths, our movies. Every human grew up knowing that one day we might need to remember who we really are." Suddenly, alarms blared. The corrupted probe had launched its first major attack, sending twisted versions of alien research probes toward major population centers. But humanity was ready. A school teacher in Berlin raised her hand, creating a shield of pure energy that protected the entire city. A chef in Buenos Aires transformed his kitchen knives into devices that cut through the fabric of space-time, trapping corrupt probes in pocket dimensions. A group of elderly mall walkers in Bangkok joined hands and created a temporal maze that confused and captured incoming threats. "This is why we lived simply," Dr. Paddle explained as they watched. "Why we experienced life at its most basic level, so that when we awakened, we wouldn't forget what we're protecting." The aliens watched as humans seamlessly blended their everyday lives with godlike powers. Parents still hugged their children while manipulating quantum fields. Friends still laughed at jokes while deploying reality-altering defenses. Love, friendship, and family remained the priority even as humanity wielded powers beyond imagination. "We need your help," Dr. Chen said to the alien representatives. "Not because we lack the power to fight this threat, but because unity and cooperation are stronger than any technology." Solak, who had once mocked Earth's primitive nature, now bowed his head in respect. "What do you need from us?" "Your trust," she replied. "Your friendship. And most importantly, your perspective. We may have the power of 3 cycles of civilization, but you have something just as valuable: fresh eyes and new ideas." As if to emphasize her point, the corrupted probe launched another attack. But this time, Earth wasn't facing it alone. The combined fleet of all galactic civilizations was arriving, ready to fight alongside the awakened humans. The time for mockery was over. The age of cooperation had begun. The final battle for reality itself took place on the edges of the solar system. The corrupted probe, now a massive structure of impossible geometry, faced the combined forces of humanity and the galactic civilizations. Earth's ships, hidden for millions of years, flew alongside the newer vessels of the younger races. Krithak watched from the command center as Dr. Chen coordinated the defense of existence itself. The holographic displays showed thousands of ships moving in perfect harmony, humanity's ancient technology working seamlessly with the younger race's innovations. "Target the dimensional anchors," Dr. Chen commanded. "Use your ship's experimental drives. They're based on our old designs. They'll resonate with the probe's structure." Solak, now a proud pilot in the combined fleet, led a squadron of Zinfer ships toward the probe. "Who would have thought?" He transmitted back. "Our primitive drives were actually made to fight this thing all along." The probe lashed out with tentacles of corrupted spacetime, trying to tear holes in reality. But where advanced human technology failed to stop it, simple solutions from the younger races succeeded. A Cox mining laser, combined with human quantum technology, cut through the probe's defenses. A basic MERN cargo scanner, enhanced by awakened humans, mapped the probe's weak points. "This is why we needed you," Dr. Paddle explained to the alien representatives in the command center. "Your fresh perspectives, your different ways of thinking, they're helping us see new solutions." The battle raged for hours. The probe was powerful, but it faced something unprecedented. The combined wisdom of humanity's 3 cycles working together with the innovation and determination of the younger races. A decisive moment came when Krithak noticed something in her scientific readings. "The probe's still following its original programming," she exclaimed. "It's trying to archive and adapt to everything it encounters." Dr. Chen's eyes lit up with understanding. Of course, it's still a research probe at its core. She quickly transmitted new orders to the fleet. "Everyone, send it data. Overwhelm its archival systems." The younger races began broadcasting everything they could. Their music, their art, their stories, their dreams. The probe, compelled by its base programming to analyze and archive everything, began to slow down as it tried to process the flood of information. "Now," Dr. Chen commanded, "hit it with everything." The combined fleet struck as one. Human quantum weapons fired alongside alien particle beams. Reality itself bent and warped as millions of years of human knowledge combined with the desperate creativity of younger civilizations. The probe, overwhelmed by both the attack and the endless stream of cultural data, began to collapse in on itself. As it did, Dr. Chen quickly opened a contained dimensional pocket, and with one massive coordinated effort, the combined fleet pushed the probe through. The threat that had waited millions of years was finally gone. In the aftermath, as the fleet returned home, something remarkable happened. Instead of returning to their simple lives, humanity chose a new path. They would remain awakened, but not as rulers or guardians. Instead, they would be teachers, friends, and partners to the younger races. "We've learned something too," Dr. Chen told the assembled alien representatives months later. "Watching your civilizations grow, seeing your unique approaches to problems, it's reminded us why we love exploration and discovery in the first place." The Galactic Council Chamber, once a place where Earth was mocked, was now a true center of cooperation. Krithak, now Earth's official scientific liaison, watched as humans and aliens worked together, sharing knowledge and culture freely. "What happens now?" Solak asked, his wings no longer trembling with fear but fluttering with excitement. Dr. Chen smiled, looking out at the stars. "Now we all grow together. We've got about 1,000,000 years before the probe's backup systems activate on the edge of the galaxy. Plenty of time to prepare, together." The younger races no longer saw humans as embarrassing primitives or intimidating ancients. They saw them as what they truly were, friends who had waited millions of years for the right moment to say hello. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, new adventures waited for all of them. The end.